Good morning and welcome to the Morning Connection. We are coming to you live from the Best FM studio in Kingston, Jamaica. Good morning to those who have joined us on air and those who have joined us online on the various social media platforms where we stream. We welcome you and we thank you for making it Best 100 FM this beautiful Wednesday morning with the Morning Connection. This is your host, Minette Lawrence. With me this morning is the producer himself. Lowell Lawrence is joining me at the microphone this morning because our dearly beloved Pastor Percival has some, what you call it now, important matters to attend to at 7:30, right in the middle of the show. So he has taken the morning to, take care of these things. And we wish him well with all that he's doing. We're going to soldier on this morning. This morning is prayer morning, so I've brought in the big guns. Big gun? Speak up.
Good morning to our valuable callers and listeners, according to our good friend Neville. I wish to welcome each and everyone to the show. As you know, Percy always leave his big shoes for me to try to fill, but certainly I'll try my best. Yes.
All right, there are a few things that are going to be different this morning. I know you're going to ride with us, and more likely than not, you will enjoy the slight change. Normally, Percival would either take the microphone for prayer, or he would invite one of his frontline warriors. We're going to do it ourselves this morning. Together, we are going to pray for the nation. We're going to intercede for the nation. I'm going to do it in a slightly different way. So I prepare your spirit for it. We're going to do it together, coming into agreement, just touching on the fundamentals of how we pray, why we pray, and invoking the strength and power of some very famous prayers that brought great success and are right there in the book that we rely on, the very prophetic book called the Bible. Whatever you call it, whatever storehouse of prayers you use, I know each person can and will understand that sometimes when you associate yourselves with a great work that has already accomplished success, it makes the job a little easier. And I think it is time that we not only just pray, but we teach some of the fundamentals of prayer for those who would like to learn a little bit more. So we're going to pull out some of the famous prayers and use them as the foundation for our intercession for the nation. And boy, do we need to intercede for this nation. Front page this morning, the word scapegoat leapt out of the pages to me, and we shall talk about that when we come back. It is already 6:30, time for the first break of the morning. Please stay with us. We're going to be right back. It is the Morning Connection.
A difference you can hear.
Best FM. Keep listening.
Warning, warning. When there is a hurricane warning, button down, tie down, everything. Lift appliances and furniture off the ground and secure your valuable items. If you wanna boat, secure it on land and turn on your yard. If you a fisherman, make sure you turn off every breaker, and before you sleep, turn off your generator. Flooding, that is a real danger. If you live a gully bank, live a bank or low line area. If you see flood waters are rising, get out, get out. Heed the warning. If your land starts slipping and a sliding, get out, get out. Heed the warning. Hurricanes gonna happen, so be prepared.
A message from the Office of Disaster Preparedness and Emergency Management.
For a better choice in all your electrical supplies, A, authorized 3M dealer and better brand names. B, better service including free island-wide delivery. C, all major credit and debit cards accepted. It's ABC Electrical Sales. Shop number 8, Hagley Park Plaza, Kingston 10. Open Monday to Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Saturday, 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. We make your electrical jobs as easy as ABC. Call 754 754-382-528 or fax 754-3659. ABC Electrical Sales for a better choice.
Half a tree, 100, half a tree. Bossy, how you do I take taxi start?
Jano, I want to tell you, say, 2 months now, my transmission mash up, and me check everybody and can't hear nothing positive.
Yeah, hear me? You waste all that time I shop around and never call the experts. Winters Auto have them. Them have over 35 years of experience and them diagnose the problem and get back your transmission brand new. For them service excellent and efficient. Trust me, man. Yeah, hear me? Call them at 929-7040 or go to them at 106 Maxfield Avenue, Kingston 13 and talk directly to the boss. Just tell them I'm me, send you.
Wow, you big star. Yeah, man, respect my boss.
I try calling her, cause trust me.
Waiters, Auto Spares and Repairs, good afternoon.
What a relief.
Looking to clean your vehicle super clean? 123 Clean Car Wash, located at 2 1/4 Osborne Road, Kingston 10. Entrance on Grove Road, below Tropical Battery. They wash and vacuum, undercarriage wash, engine wash, polish and compound, shampoo and detailing. Call them at 876-631-3400. 123 Clean Car Wash, the best in the business for a cleaner wash.
1, 2, 3, believe me, it's so easy. 1, 2, 3.
This is your beloved Pastor Percy from the Morning Connection. Support our commitment to Jamaica by joining us on Wednesday mornings at 7:30 when we pray for the nation. Show us you care. Advertise with us. For more information, call our offices at 876-276-8935.
The Morning Connection is not your usual talk show. We aim to stimulate discussion and chart new paths to self-empowerment. So please join us, Minette and Percy, on The Morning Connection, Mondays to Thursdays, 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. on Best 100 FM.
It's good, it's better, but nothing beats.
Good morning and welcome back. So I did prepare you that the prayer is going to run a slightly different course, and I'm looking forward to sharing that with you at the appropriate time. So we'll begin to prepare our minds somewhere around 7:15ish, so that by the time we come after the 7:30 break, we'll be well established on how we're going to proceed. I want to start the conversation this morning with just a follow-up on an issue that we looked at yesterday, and which has made the front pages this morning. So, you remember we talked about the sacking, as they called it, of the Housing Agency of Jamaica managing director. I'm starting with it this morning because we had used the word scapegoat, and sure enough, Dr. Patrick Thelwell says he was made a scapegoat when the board of the public body terminated his contract last Friday in the wake of an audit that uncovered a policy breach. The chairman, Norman Brown, revealed that an amount of more than $90 million in variations on a particular project was paid out without board approval. And if you read it, you'll see there is reference to the board, the policy, which the chairman says has been in place since he has been chairman. What's interesting is the chairman making a statement that if they didn't fire the managing director, he as chairman would have had to resign. What does that mean, really? I thought the buck stopped with the managing director.
He should resign.
But it seems that
he should resign.
It really
it happens under his watch.
Still under his watch.
What kind of foolishness is that?
But isn't that the essence of scapegoating a person? You make them take responsibility, because if they don't take responsibility, it would put you.
Yes.
It would cast
so
you
I mean,
in a
all
bad
this
light.
time while the breach was taking place, where was he? What was he doing?
Let's talk a little bit about how boards of directors operate, whether they are in a private entity or in a government entity, really doesn't matter, same creature. Typically, in fact, in a government entity, you're likely to have a stronger governance structure because the members of the board are not stakeholders in the sense of have equity and expect dividends. They are an oversight body. And so typically they would meet on a monthly basis simply to maintain good oversight of the public's business. Some private companies, the boards may meet quarterly, or they may not meet at all and do everything by paper, round robin resolutions, and so on. But in government entities, in my personal experience, having served on government boards, monthly meetings are typically the order of the day. You've been in the private sector and you've been on boards. How do boards operate? What is the kind of access to information that they would typically have?
Well, the first thing is, as I said, the buck stops with the chairman of the board. I mean, each time the board meet, the information comes straight to the board and people look at it and they take decisions. Now, it can be that a breach is taking place within an organization and
Of
it
this
escapes
magnitude.
you. Yeah. Until the last minute, you look and say, oh, but wait, this is happening. Oh, I should fire this man.
Especially,
what was happening all along?
Yeah, no, someone behaving dishonestly in an organization can escape the attention of a managing director if there is complicity amongst workers to hide fraudulent activity. A thing can be shuffled around and the managing director might not readily have sight of it, especially if you have board subcommittees that are meeting and handling certain things, and the managing director may only see kind of like the top line. But when it comes to the board has the power to cut through middle management and reporting lines and bring forward information on any issue that excites their attention. My recollection of how government boards operate in particular, there's a financial report that must come to the board at every meeting. And because members of the board are not working in the business, they typically require more assistance and look more deeply at it, because if there is fraud taking place in the organization, the board needs to keep an eye on making sure people are being honest. Even if the managing director himself is involved in some wrongdoing, it is the board that has the power and can get to the nitty-gritty of the situation by calling even the internal auditor. Typically, your internal auditor reports to the board, not to the managing director, because the internal auditor is meant to catch these very kinds of things that has been spotted. But if you look at the report, and so we're talking generally from experience, when you look at this newspaper report and what Mr. Thelwell is saying, he's saying that he found out about the misdeeds in July. So it was picked up.
Mm-hmm.
Mr.
Yes.
Thelwell picked it up in July. But it has to do with something which actually began in January. It's going to be very interesting to see
So then,
how
was
it
he doing
plays
his
out.
job, having picked it up? Can one say that he was doing his job?
He was doing his job. To have caught it meant he was doing his job. But I am reasonably sure that you're going to be hearing some interesting information coming out of this one.
So is he then saying that he saw it long before then and was trying to cover it up, and that is the reason why he was fired?
This is what he says. Thelwell says, the incident that led to his sacking started in January this year, and he discovered the issue in July. Without going into details, the former managing director said he had dialogue with the chairman and took the matter to the board over the period of August to October. We cauterized the situation, and almost everybody that was involved resigned from the organization, Thelwell told the Gleaner, noting that 3 persons involved in the breach had resigned. Thelwell said he had sent memos to the Human Resource Department and internal auditors urging them to conduct an audit. There needs to be a deeper probe because the culpable people, the people who have done the damage, ought to be punished, not me. I am being punished by virtue of being the managing director. How can that be? Thelwell questioned. Declaring his innocence in what has been deemed a policy breach, the former HAJ boss said that he relied on the recommendation made to him for payment of certificates from the technical team. Having given some 40 years of service to the government, Thelwell said the manner in which his contract was terminated has forced him to take steps to mitigate the impact on his reputation. I will never wear short pants. I don't do anything. I don't worry about the deeper probe. I invite a deeper probe, he said. Chairman, however, argued that the agency had no other issue with Thelwell personally besides his management failure. Mm-hmm. Now, this is a very high standard that is being set, because if there is fraud in an organization that involved, see, I didn't even read the rest of it before I made the comment about complicity of co-workers. When there's fraud in an organization and workers are complicit, those who should catch an error is a part of it. It's very difficult for the managing director to uncover it without investigation over a period of time.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So if a man uncovers a fraud in his business and reports on it, an action is taken, and he becomes a casualty of that incident without there being any involvement, he is not involved in the fraud, that would be a miscarriage of justice.
No, but definitely. So it's going to be interesting to see what comes out of this.
Well, here where I'm waiting on them to disclose which project and who's involved, because I bet you any money. Now, you know I don't have much, so don't take the bet. Mm-hmm. I'll bet you anything that you're going to hear some names that would invite further scrutiny and controversy, and somebody's trying to stay ahead of it by letting, maybe they think is a low-lying head, but when the head of the organization is the scapegoat, it tells you that the ones who are truly liable are way higher up in the food chain.
It's going to be interesting to see who will take this job, because clearly if what Mr. Thelwell is saying is to be believed,
you couldn't want to work
fired
in that.
for doing his job.
Yes.
So who is going to step up and take this job? You know, anyway.
Yeah. He's been scapegoated. We could see that one. Wow. That is a tough... that is a tough
hard
one
pill to swallow.
Yes.
Hard pill to
and
swallow.
While we are very we're very happy to see accountability and some effort at transparency entering into the administration of public matters, you want justice, you want it to be fair. You don't want to see the wrong person taking the rap for something that they themselves worked to uncover and brought to the fore.
A few weeks ago, we heard about J.C. Hutchinson and the contract that was given to, what was it?
His
a
son.
relative? His son?
A company that is run by his son. Mm-hmm.
What's happening with that?
No heads have rolled.
Yeah.
Yeah. No
there are many
accountability.
more like that.
Absolutely. You know, we want to see it happen, make no mistake about it, but it has to be done justly. You know, this morning you and I were looking at Ezekiel and the prophecy about the justice of God when he spoke about his treatment. If a righteous man forsake his righteous ways and begin to behave in an unacceptable way, his righteousness will be forgotten and he'll be treated based on his most recent action. If a wicked person abandons his wicked ways and begins to behave in keeping with the principles, then his most recent righteous behavior will be accorded to him, and that is how he will be judged.
Yeah.
We are looking to see standards of justice that are in alignment with how our Creator treats us. We don't want to create perverted standards of justice where a good man, even here, the chairman is telling the gleaner that Dr. Telwell is a decent man, a good man. I have no reason to think that Dr. Telwell is anything other than a good person and decent man. But when it comes to leading an organization, you have to bear responsibility.
Oh.
So why the chairman don't resign? Because
sure
every month
his
he had an
resignation is coming,
opportunity.
man. I'm sure.
Every month that they have a board meeting, he too had an opportunity to address it.
Listen to me. That man is a liability to that institution, the chairman. I'm telling you that. Because if he behave in this way, there's no way you can attract anybody good to fill that position, given how he has treated this man. And I don't have any reason to believe that Mr. Thelwell's account of the situation is incorrect.
Well, I hope Dr. Telwell was keeping his own record of the meetings and the discussions. He will need them because if you uncover something fraudulent in your organization and you're seeking to deal with it, and I tell you, let's look now at the Whistleblowing Act. Here it is. We are encouraging people to break rank and to make disclosures concerning wrongdoings. But this here demonstrates that when you make the disclosure and you are seeking to address it, you end up being punished and penalized.
Of course, we have seen it time and time
and
again.
in Jamaica of today, where your health and your safety, your life, your family's safety could be at risk when you speak the truth about a matter.
Yeah, man. Remember, we have an informer for that culture,
Yeah. Well, they sure know how to apply it at the corporate level. Yeah, so we feel for you, Dr. Telwell, and we believe that your justice is coming, and it won't be long. You will see things unfolding, and if you continue to be brave and courageous and to be righteous in your treatment of these issues and speak out where you need to, it will come even faster because you will break something. You're gonna break something in this nation. The Housing Agency of Jamaica, as you know, deals with land and people's desire for home ownership. That is about one of the deepest sores in this nation. Starting from the time when our forefathers left the plantation with nothing. And it continues to be an aching, hard to heal wound in this nation. So anything that touches on the treatment of land and the fact that it belongs to the people and the people continue to yearn for it, you're going to see very, very far-reaching, how do I put it? I want to say that God is doing something. That's really what I want to say.
The sad part of all of this is that you're trying to see what's the solution, because we're getting scandals after scandals after scandals, and nothing is happening. As a matter of fact, what you have are people now surrounding, the powers that be and saying, no, we need to keep them in there. As a matter of fact, we need to set a record to make sure they are the longest in there.
Serving. And,
so can you imagine?
Yes, and insulate them from criticism and so on. Yeah. Remember, that the housing agency sits in the Prime Minister's ministry.
Yes.
So let me tell you, very soon we're going to hear some details. Who is the contractor? Which development? You're going to see the connections to the highest level of the persons who would have benefited from this 90 million and growing variation. And you're also going to learn the identity of those who resigned quickly to get out of the way. And you are going to hear how they came to be hired in the organization in the first place. It's going to be like a little Petrojam thing all over. So if they think that a quick bloodletting, a quick sacrificial lamb, a scapegoating of the managing director is going to work, it is not going to work, because truth, honor, are important things, and God work overtime to preserve them and to make sure that mankind is not lost or confused. But out of all this, what I have a concern for how persons who discover wrongdoing are treated, because we are promoting the disclosure of information and the protection of persons who disclose information pertaining to wrongdoing in public office. This is not a good move, or not a good look, let's call it that. Because if you can have your managing director saying forthrightly and at the earliest opportunity, I uncovered fraud in my organization and I have been punished for it. I uncovered fraud. I brought it to the attention of the chairman, no less. It went to the board. Others have got out of the way by resigning. No names in the media. Yet the head of the agency who brought it forward has been publicly shamed. And it does not matter that you say we think he's a good man, but he must take the blame. You could only accord blame to someone because there is something they should have done, could have done, and did not do in a timely manner.
If I were to make a guess, I'd say that the firing of this man is a cover-up in and of itself.
Well, yes, that is
clearly.
That's what it boils down to. That's what it boils down to. When we were before the that committee that was looking at the Integrity Commission Act, do you remember how disturbed they all were by any suggestion that announcements of investigations should be made before a matter has been determined, because they wanted to protect the reputation of those who were under investigation? Do you remember?
Yes, ma'am.
And apparently, the records of Parliament will show that on each occasion that this legislation was being debated, all were agreed that it would be injurious to the reputation of parliamentarians and public officers if the Integrity Commission were permitted to announce that such and such is under investigation. The overriding sentiment was that the mere announcement suggests wrongdoing.
Yes.
And everybody reacted like a scalded cat when you talked about disclosure of information. They said, no, because that man's reputation, and then if you smear his reputation, it is like, you can't wind it back, and we've always been careful. I get that.
Yes.
I get that completely.
Yes.
But why do that to this man?
Well, it depends on who is involved.
You fire a man because of wrongdoing in the organization that he led. You try to say that, it's not because he did anything. Why would you fire somebody who did nothing?
So you fire him and then you're going to investigate?
Yes.
Interesting.
And the only reason you fired him is in obedience to a principle which has never been applied anywhere else in government. That the buck stops with him. Look how many people the buck stop on their desk and they just carry on as if there's no buck.
So what's the role of the chairman? To fire the managing director? That's his only role?
Apparently that's the buck. He spent the buck.
Yeah.
I mean, it is... No, we want some semblance of equity and justice. We're not looking for persons to be sacrificed on an altar of some misguided sense of propriety. The right man must take responsibility for his actions.
Well, I'm pretty sure that the chairman's resignation is written and it's on its way to where it needs to go. Yeah, man. Any decent person would resign in a situation like this. Come on.
Because it happened under his watch. He's there saying that if they didn't fire the chairman, if they didn't fire the managing director, the chairman would have to resign. So he's recognizing that there is culpability at the highest level. Then the two of them must resign then. Said both of us missed it.
I wonder what he uncovered. How did he learn about the impropriety?
From the managing director. Managing director said it. He went to his higher up, which is exactly what the Protected Disclosure Act requires,
You found something? Okay, you're fired.
That you make report to the person above who has the ability and the authority. And the man made the report and he ends up being fired. Ezekiel chapter 18, let me remind you. What do people mean by quoting this proverb about the land of Israel? The parents eat sour grapes, and the children's teeth are set on edge.
Yes. So it's the children being punished for the sins of the parents and vice versa.
This is where it's going. And this is the equity and that's the standard that I am advocating. People of Jamaica must know. The Lord says, everyone belongs to me, the parent as well as the child. Both alike belong to me. The one who sins is the one who will die. You never punish a person who is free from blame. You cannot say he is blameless, but he must take responsibility. That job has already been taken. It was only Christ, the blameless one, who took responsibility for the sins of men, and he did it so nobody else would have to do it. It is the once for all activity of the Christ. So Dr. Telwell should not be sacrificed for the misdeeds of others. Truthfully too, nor should the chairman. If the chairman is not at fault, meaning there is something he should have caught and didn't, had the opportunity, had the means, didn't catch it. In my experience, a chairman with his audit committee and his internal auditor is more likely to see the fraud than the managing director, around whom a lot of misdirection can be organized, because the chairman will see the internal reports from everywhere coming up.
Exactly.
And if he is tracking a major project properly, he must know where the project needs to be. Is it on budget? Who's doing what?
Right.
And the internal auditor, who should be working closely with the board of directors, has the ability to scrutinize the checks and balances. So, for example, if I am supposed to sign off on something for you, and the sign off is missing, or I am simply doing it without checking certain details, meaning all of the intervening documents are not present and accounted for, the internal auditor should pick that up. And for a large project, you would imagine that they have the right staff looking at it with regularity so that certificates are supported by the necessary bits and pieces. Now, you would not expect the managing director to run an audit on the certificates when they come to him, either for approval or if he's looking to see, are the certificates in place? They show him the certificate, it's signed by the right people. He's not going to look behind the certificate because he'd be doing his subordinate's job. But the auditor has the responsibility for looking behind the certificate.
Yeah.
All of that detail I've gone into to just reassure you that there are standards and procedures which can enable a properly functioning board to find out things even before a managing director does.
Well, the truth is, a lot of these boards, the chairmen are figureheads. They do nothing.
I rest my case.
So what can I do?
So,
anyway,
the Lord
time
says,
to take a break.
the one who sins is the one who will die. And that's the standard that we advocate. Let's take our 7 o'clock break.
A difference you can hear. A difference you can feel.
Best FM, keep listening.
Community organizations that promote gender equality and empowerment programs are set to benefit from a $4 million Canadian grant under the Gender Equality Programming Initiative. The initiative was launched on November 4 at the St. Andrew residence of Canada's High Commissioner to Jamaica, Amina Tudakovic. The initiative, being coordinated through the Canadian High Commission, aims to enhance sexual and reproductive health and human rights for adolescent Jamaicans, vulnerable persons, and key populations. Minister of Culture, Gender, Entertainment and Sport Olivia Grange, who spoke at the launch, welcomed the program, while also expressing gratitude for the collaboration supporting the strengthening of gender equality.
This occasion is very significant for the advancement of the gender architecture in Jamaica. The High Commission of Canada in Jamaica has maintained a prominent role in matters related to gender development in Jamaica. In addition to timely and relevant gender programs and initiatives, we have provided significant support to the Ministry of Culture, Gender, Entertainment and Sport through the work of the Bureau of Gender Affairs.
She adds that the program is important for bringing Jamaica closer to achieving its Vision 2030 objectives.
It signals a recommitment that is born out of hard work, diligence, and belief that gender equality should remain a primary focus for all Jamaicans. The High Commission of Canada in Jamaica has been one of our key stakeholders. We have been relentless in your pursuit of equality, which ties into Vision 2030 Jamaica and the Sustainable Development Goals, specifically Goal 5, which speaks to gender equality.
Minister Grange notes that among the anticipated outcomes under the program, which will run for 5 years, are changes in social norms and behavior surrounding reproduction and the fostering of attitudes against gender-based violence. The Gender Equality Programming Initiative will also be supported by Jamaica's National Policy for Gender Equality, the NPGE, which is currently being reviewed to bring it in line with internationally accepted standards. The NPGE is aimed at enabling men and women to contribute equally to the country's growth, while having equitable access to the protection and privileges of Jamaican citizenship.
The NPGE was approved in 2011 to signal the government of Jamaica's commitment to achieving gender equality and equity. The NPGE has 4 guiding principles, namely 1. Gender equality and social justice. 2. Political leadership and commitment. 3. Multi-sectoral approach. And 4. Partnerships and the participatory approach.
Minister Grange says the policy will be presented to Parliament after the review is completed and a plan for implementation is developed.
Consultations were done with several key stakeholders, and the findings will be used to guide the implementation of the policy over the next decade and beyond. However, over the past 6 years, we have been able to achieve several major objectives that promote gender equality and tackle issues of gender discrimination and disparity.
Canada's Minister for International Development, Harjit Sajjan, who spoke at the Gender Equality Programming Initiative launch via video, said the funds to be channeled through Oxfam Canada will serve to strengthen the partner organization's efforts to advance human rights and reduce violence through programmed interventions. Oxfam Canada, based in Ottawa, has a mission to build lasting solutions to poverty and injustice with a focus on improving the lives of and promoting the rights of women and girls. The institution works directly with communities, partners, and women's rights organizations to challenge the systems that perpetuate inequality and fuel poverty.
I want to congratulate the government of Jamaica for its effort to advance gender equality and for following through with the implementation of the National Strategic Action Plan for the reduction of gender-based violence. International policy for gender equality will improve the lives of those vulnerable women and girls in Jamaica. Canada stands working in this school, using social media, peer education, training, and advocacy that will make health services more inclusive and improve health education, all while promoting gender equality and positive masculinity.
Canada's Minister for International Development, Harjit Sajjan, speaking at the official launch of the Gender Equality Programming Initiative being facilitated through Canada's High Commission to Jamaica. And that's where I leave you for this feature. Thank you as always for listening. I am Jermaine Nelson.
A production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.
A difference you can hear, a difference you can feel.
Best FM 100 on your dial. Keep listening.
Come in, my DJ,
and give the people the information. Hear this this. If you're a hurricane come, you have to go through a list of things where you need and things where you have to fix, like your roof, your doors and your window them. Buy your nails, hooks and fasteners and fix them. Get your hammer, your pliers, your rope and your wire. Stack up with ply and a holy palumba. Plastic tarpaulin and plastic bag. Kerosene oil stove and a coal stove. Kerosene lamp, matches and candle. Yo, trim the tree them and clean the drains. That's how you prepare before a hurricane. Be prepared. Prevention is better than cure. Better listen to ADPEM.
A message from the Office of Disaster Preparedness and Emergency Management.
Veteran Printers for all your printing needs. We specialize in calendars, flyers, brochures, and more. Call us today at 968-7506. That's 968-7506. Or visit us at 4 East Bloomsbury Road, off Haggard Park Road. Veteran Printers, your best choice in printing.
For a better choice in all your electrical supplies, A, authorized 3M dealer and better brand names. B, better service including free island-wide delivery. C, all major credit and debit cards accepted. It's ABC Electrical Sales, shop number 8, Hagley Park Plaza, Kingston 10. Open Monday to Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m., Saturday, 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. We make your electrical jobs as easy as ABC. Call 754-3825-8 or fax 754-3659. ABC Electrical Sales, for a better choice.
Half a tree, 100, half a tree. Bossy, how do I take taxi start?
Jano, I want to tell you, say, 2 months now, my transmission mash up, and me check everybody and can't hear nothing positive.
Yeah, hear me? Yeah, waste all that time I shop around and never call the experts. Winters Auto have them. Them have over 35 years of experience and them diagnose the problem and get back your